Hi everybody, this is Gail Minogue, and I'm so glad to be back. I haven't made a YouTube video in almost a couple of months, so I wanted to start bringing you up to date on where we are in our society right now and what's going on. As you see what's going on, it's a lot of crazy making, but one of the things that we all get individually and then collectively is we all get a personal year. So right now, the personal year for the United States is the number 2. Which means you have a lesson to learn the entire year of your personal year number. So I'm in a number 8, which is all about learning how to manage my time, my investments, my energy, all of that around no nonsense stuff, lawyers and contracts and things like that. And the United States is in the number 2, which it was to learn this year all about patience. Big deal for number 2 is patience. Learning patience, compromise, working with people you don't like, and also develop the ability to see the other person's point of view. The one thing you don't want to do in a 2-year is use force. You want to use persuasion and tact to get what you want. So how we got to the number 2 or a personal year is you add the month and day of your birth. So in the case of the United States, it's July 4th. So you add those two numbers together and you get an 11, which is the number 2. And you add that, the month and day, to the universal year, which in 225 is a 9. 2 plus 2 plus 5 is a 9. So in this personal year of the United States is the number 2. It has to learn patience, compromise, tact, diplomacy, persuasion, seeing the other person's point of view, working with people you distinctly dislike. Have we done this? And my answer would be no. So we are failing in learning our lesson this year. What happens to any person, or in this case, collectively a country, that doesn't learn its lesson? It will have a backlash. So that will be coming in the next year or 2 is the backlash from the lessons not learned this year in the 2-year. So what's left of the 2-year, and here we are in September, is that very few months are left, because once you get to the end of the year, like November and December, you start bringing in the new year, which is the number 3 for the United States next year. So because we didn't learn compromise, because we weren't patient, because we forced the issues, we will pay for this. Now, how will we pay for it? That remains to be seen, but you're starting to see a backlash. And because we're going to get rid of, say, 2 million immigrants, the backlash will be the care workers in the hospitals, nursing homes, assisted living facilities will be cut short and not have enough employees. So if you need somebody at home health to take care of your loved one, you may have a very hard time getting them. Right now, we're having short of hospital beds. There aren't enough to treat the people in America. Now, the next thing, you don't have enough people on construction sites, so you can't build the houses you want. These are the backlash of decision to force an issue rather than finesse an issue, which means, was there a better way to do immigration? Was there a better way to remove people rather than en masse collection type of arrangement? The next thing you have to look at the backlash will be on these tariffs that are raising prices and bringing in income into the United States to counteract the new tax bill that was passed. So again, where was the compromise? So we kind of forced all these countries to pay high tariffs, which regularly you see. I go to Trader Joe's, I go to other stores, and I watch the price inflation. I mean, last week, the same green onions I paid 99 cents for from Mexico were now $1.29. The same little teeny avocados that were $3.99 are now $4.49. And this goes on, and it will start hitting more and more areas of our lives due to these tariffs. Right now, we don't feel the effect, but it's coming. It's gradually coming in. Prices are going up. So when we don't have enough staff, I went to a restaurant. I'm in Los Angeles. I went to a restaurant because we've had these immigration raids. I went in to have lunch, and I had to go to the counter twice. Once to get somebody to wait on me, and second time was to get my order after somebody did wait on me because they were short of staff. They didn't have the people. They didn't have the people to clean the tables, serve the tables. They were gone. They had only like 3 or 4 people, and it was a very big restaurant. So these are the backlash of decisions made that were forced. There wasn't any tact, there wasn't any diplomacy, there wasn't any compromise. There's going to be more. There'll be more with healthcare, all down the line. So our leadership in the country at the present time is not working with patience, not working with compromise, forcing the issues, bullying our ways around the world. Now, what is this going to do? You will start to see, I figured it would take about 1.5 years for you will really feel the effect of medical care, short staffing where needed in a society which is pretty much everywhere, farmers not being able to get their crops picked to market, also not enough people in, say, meat packing, loading, shipping, all that kind of stuff. So there's going to be, and this is a huge part of our workforce. So if you lose, say, right now it's about 1.2 million that we have lost of workers, and they're going for 2 million. What will this do to the economy? Not good, not good. So we're going to find that much of this work will have to be undone, fixed in the future years. This is all part of the backlash. And it'll take a long time. It has to go through the courts. But again, it was a lack of compromise, diplomacy, tact, persuasion, and no ability to see another person's point of view and make compromise on that. So our leadership isn't doing that. And it will have to, a lot of this stuff will have to be undone to make corrections. Plus, we've lost a lot of the federal workforce in very much what I would say battering ram method. Instead of using a scalpel to pick apart waste and fraud, which is a good idea, actually, but instead of just laying off en masse, that is not how you do that. I think it was Robert Frost talk about building fences, building walls, and before you demolish one, which would be a whole department, before you demolish it, find out what is going to be released upon the public when you do. Now, why are we having all this now? Why is this disruption going on now? Well, America is in finishing up 2 big cycles. A 50-year cycle that began with Reagan in 1980, and that 50 years will finish by 2030. And it's ending an 80-year cycle that began with ending of World War II. So you go back 80 years, all these programs that were started after World War II are the ones that are being disrupted and disintegrated and trying to destroy them. Some of them probably needed to go. In fact, if you look at the CDC, which is this big thing right now, it had somebody shoot at the building and like 500 rounds of bullets. The CDC was started originally to fight malaria, and it morphed into a larger department. And so we have to take a look at these departments and see where do they need to be cut back. Let's look at these judiciously, sensibly. Let's put it, say there's common sense. But instead it was just destroyed, butchered, whatever. So when the 2024 election came, we were going to elect, whether it was Harris or Trump, a disruptor. I think Trump would do a better job of disrupting than Harris, but either way, they would both have to disrupt because that's the phase of this 80-year cycle we're in. You have to disrupt and demolish some things in order to build the new. And the new is coming. And when we finish this up, excuse me, by 2030, all right, when we finish up the 80-year cycle, when we finish this election period from 24 to 28, we'll begin the new period. So what we have now is leadership of the past. This is not the future. So do not mistake what's going on now as just like it's the destruction, the end of the world. It is not. It is the end of a cycle so that a new one can be brought forth. We have to not lean back on the old. You're watching America go it alone in the world. Because during this period from World War II to now, we were the world's policemen and the shoulder to cry on, and we sent in the troops to support whatever. We don't want to do that anymore. So we're looking at things that, hey, you go take care of it. We can't police the world. And so that's another part of this change of this big 80-year cycle. The 80-year cycle is hitting the institutions. So that's your all these aid agencies, the health agencies, the defense, which now Trump wants to call it the Department of War, which, come on, that's World War II kind of talk. So he's going back to everything he's going back to the past. He is not the future. Vance is not the future. None of this administration you have in there is the future. These are the disruptors of the past. So if you could label them as that, that's what you would label them. Even though it looks like they're going to destroy us, okay, that we have a new beginning. And a lot of people don't want the old legislators. They don't want the 83-year-olds, 85-year-olds who just park their rear ends in Congress and stay there for 45 years. I mean, they never really held a regular job. So they just stay there and they vote to stay in power. We don't want them anymore. We don't have that representation. We have this crazy gerrymandering, pandering, corruption, and this is all part of this old system. So one of the things about an old empire that's ending, which is what we're doing, we're ending an empire of the United States to begin a new segment, a new era for us. We're ending an old empire. And when an empire comes to its ends, the politicians become performers. And you watch that a lot of these performers who are now in positions in the cabinet or other speakers, a lot of them came from Fox TV. And they all had to be able to perform in front of a camera. If you really weren't camera ready or didn't look good or didn't have a media presence, he really doesn't want you. So the politicians are the performers we're dealing with. And so it's an ending cycle. Do not get frightened. Don't pay too much attention to all of it. But on the other hand, pay very much attention. What do you want? If there's something that you don't want anymore, then vote against it. Do not vote against your own interests. Do not vote against the embellishment and the baloney and the BS. And watch the inflation. Stop paying attention to all the podcasts. They cater to who's sponsoring them, whether it's a conservative or Democratic. More and more and more, the podcastings are very, very conservative because that's the meat of choice at this moment. But this isn't lasting. Just like if you go back 10 years, what the heck were we doing 10 years ago? What were we doing 10 years before that? How important is 20 years ago to us? Really, take a look at that. You don't even remember what you were really doing 20 years ago. So let's go back 2020. So what were you doing in 2005? Do you even remember? Unless you had a major life event, marriage, child born, death, something. Really, 2005 does not register big. That's 20 years ago. Let's go back to 2015. That's closer. That's when Trump came on the scene. And this is when he will leave. He will leave by the end of the 30s. He's done. That grouping is done. So I don't know who is going to shake out for 28, but that's the beginning of the end of this stuff. And so you want to figure out, this is not America the way we're doing it. This is a disruption to reinvent ourselves. And you have to understand, America has to reinvent itself to thrive, to succeed, to exist. So this is something we've been on before. I've talked about this before, but now you're living it. You are living in the storm before the calm. So don't panic. And if you want to know more, I'm going to have a great Zoom program Saturday, September 13th at 11 o'clock Pacific Daylight Time on Zoom. You can register on my website, gailminogue.com. I hope you can join us. I think it'll be really worth your time. It's an hour and a half. So I look forward to seeing you there, and I look forward to seeing you on our next Zoom program.